We're rolling. She's managing attention. He's texting. Communicating respect non-verbally. Find friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name. Feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi, I'm Angela.
Hi, Angela.
Okay. Learning language is an amazing experience that can open your eyes to the world that you never seen before you learn the language. It can actually provide a significant insight in seeing the cultures of other countries, since language reflects who they actually are. So today, I would like to share with you guys my personal commitment, which is to learn Spanish. I will give you 2 reasons why I'm interested in learning Spanish, or personally committed to learning Spanish, and then 3 actions that I've taken to demonstrate my personal commitment. In this room, I'm sure that all of you guys are really exposed to the international communities, so as being in UCLA, and also some are interested in learning foreign languages, like just how I am. So listening to me speaking about, passionate about learning Spanish will really establish a strong connections with your experiences. Okay, I will start with the reason why I'm really committed to learn Spanish. It's because of my high school teacher, Señorita Pascual, who was really enthusiastic about teaching and also learning about Spanish cultures and its language itself too. So she didn't only focus on the grammar and the rules in writing, but she also focused on the language, the culture, by providing the movies, articles, and other songs that I can really know more about the country rather than only the language. So it quickly got my attention, and that I was really interested in it. And I also wanted to learn more about what she was really into. The second reason why I become personally committed to learning Spanish is my life back in the Philippines. In the Philippines, I could find lots of Spanish influences due to the 300 years of colonization back in the past. They wear the Spanish costumes, they eat Spanish food, and then they speak some Spanish vocabulary such as water, numbers, and so on and so forth. So my learning about the Spanish was not limited to books, but also to my daily lives and real life experiences. So I really became personally committed to learning Spanish. Now I would like to share with you the 3 actions that demonstrate my personal commitment to learning Spanish. First, I started to attend some of the Spanish courses from my high school, and I also took some international baccalaureate courses too. And then it taught me how to speak, listen, and then write in Spanish. So it provided me the basic knowledge that I need. The second way that demonstrated my personal commitment to learning Spanish was I visited some cultural assets with Spanish influences in the Philippines, such as palaces, churches, learning centers, and other houses that I can see their lifestyles and their interests. It was really interesting for me to learn more about their cultures and also the language. The last way to demonstrate my personal commitment was talking to some Hispanic people, Hispanic friends in UCLA, which includes my roommate Karen. She's a Chicana and she's really fluent in Spanish. So talking to her and texting her in Spanish, we just ask questions like, have you done your laundry? And then, have you finished your homework? You want to have dinner with me? And so on and so forth. It's really interesting for me that I could really explore and express my interests like in the real life. I could actually communicate with Karen in Spanish, my best passion of my life. So as I carry out all those actions, I feel very excited and happy. That's because exploring the passion, which is to learn Spanish, is a time where I can develop myself and think about like what I really want to do in my life. And in summary, I would like to I share with you guys my personal commitment, which is to learning Spanish. And I wanted to learn Spanish because of my high school teacher, Señorita Pascual, who was really enthusiastic in learning more about it. And also my life back in the Philippines, that was full of Spanish influences due to the colonization. And there were like 3 actions that demonstrated my personal commitment, which was first, I've attended some of the courses in Spanish, and second, I visited the cultural assets with Spanish influences in the Philippines. And third, for the last, I try to text and communicate with my Chicana friend and then try to learn more about the cultures and the language too. And in this room, there should be no doubt that I'm really personally committed to learning Spanish. That is the passion of my life that really excites me every day. So in conclusion, I've talked about that learning language is an amazing experience that can really show you who they really are and then open your eyes to the world that you've never seen before. So in the future, I'm planning to attend to the study abroad program in UCLA for my junior year. I'm planning to study in Spain for a quarter, and I would like to experience their culture and language and then see how they, and witness how they really are and how their lifestyles are. So I'm really excited to explore all those worlds that I get to see by learning more the language in Spain. Thank you.
Thank you. 6 minutes. Sorry I didn't give you time signals. I was just going off that. Let's start over in this corner.
Hey, I'm Demont.
Demont.
What I like about your speech is that you made it clear as to your points and your reasons behind it. And I like the pauses that you made. They were too awkward.
Okay, thank you. Improvement.
Hi, I'm Rachel Leah.
Hi, Rachel Leah.
I think you did a really nice job, and I think that your pauses were great, but sometimes there was too much of a pause, and it was usually your transitions. So maybe for next time to work on your transitions a bit smoother. And then in the end, you didn't maybe need to do, when you concluded, because it was such a short speech, we really remembered the 3 things you talked about, so maybe it wasn't necessary to go into detail. But you did a really nice job, and it was super fluent, and I liked your speech.
Right. Had I given you better time signals, and I take full responsibility for that, you could have cut down on your very detailed summary, and that wouldn't have been necessary to have such a long summary. Well, Angela, let's talk about your speech. You decided to start with kind of intriguing aspects of Spanish and how it can open your eyes to other cultures, and you were kind of selling it, weren't you? You were trying to sell it to your audience. That was interesting. I would like you to try next time a poem, a quote, a story, a joke, something different to dazzle your audience and beginning to grab them, to draw them in, to make them want to listen. Your thesis, your significant statement were all fine. Your story about Senorita Pascual was nice. She used a lot of different types of learning. You say videos, songs, movies. So she really wasn't just grammar and speaking. So she really brought the whole works in, and that really impressed you and got you deeply involved. So that was a good story and a good beginning for your first reason. On your second story, I think that you tried to relate it to the real life that you saw in the Philippines and the Spanish influence. The story could have been a little bit longer there. On your actions you've taken, they were all fine. They were all consistent with your PC. I would also, I don't know if you know about this, but at North Campus there's a little table that they sit around and speak Spanish at. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Yeah, you can just go up there and sit down and speak Spanish with people in the afternoon. You've heard of that? Maybe no. In the afternoon. I see them there when I go to get my coffee. So if you want more practice, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Your summary was too long. Your conclusion was fine, and your tie back was okay. Your goals were to make your speech more flowing, to have natural hand gestures, and to have good eye contact with your audience. How'd it go?
I think all of those worked well, that I didn't try to really memorize it. This time I had an outline in my mind and then tried to really communicate with the audiences. And then
Yes.
I made some movements and also like some appropriate hand gestures and made some eye contact, so I think it went pretty well.
Yeah, I think it's better to have it extemporaneous style and not memorize it word for word, and so that's a better way to go. I would like to see a little bit more of you moving your arms and being a little more emphatic and expressive in your gesturing. But other than that, you did a nice job. Thank you. Okay, that'll bring us to Isabel Staff. Is there an Isabel Staff? Isabel B? Is that you?
Yes.
Oh, your eyes are still bad. Okay, let's go to You Go You. Is there a You Go You?
Not in this class.
Oh, okay, no You Go You. Okay, let's go to Christine Tran. She's here, ready to roll. Who is the other? Is there two Isabels in here?
One drop.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
How are you?
Okay, she is tall.
Should I hold it?
There you go. That works. Okay, she's managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
Hi everyone, my name is Christine.
Hi, Christine.
So as a senior, this was a really great opportunity for me to reflect on the past 3 years. And I was just kind of thinking back to what I've kind of experienced, and I want to share with you a personal story that very few people know. And I will share with you 2 reasons why I'm personally committed to helping others, specifically through pharmacy, and 3 actions I've taken to demonstrate this. And I think the themes I will talk about are relatable because they're all life experiences that we will all encounter at some point or another. So the first reason why I'm personally committed to helping others through pharmacy specifically is because during my freshman year, my father was diagnosed with late-stage oral cancer. And this completely shocked me because he was healthy, young, really active, and positive. But it was an aggressive form, and it progressed to the point where he lost the ability to speak, eat, or even use the restroom himself. At the time, I was a freshman, and so I was taking full courses here, but I was able to rush from class, and then since he was hospitalized at the UCLA hospital the last few months of his life, I was able to watch over him and make sure that he was okay. And this was hard because at the time I was 18, but I had to care for a parent and I had to make life decisions for him. But it was even more devastating because I had seen human suffering up close for the first time, and it was very personal. And it made me realize the state of the healthcare in the United States and made me change my perception of the power of medicine. And so with that, I realized that because I couldn't change my father's circumstance, I knew that for the rest of my life I wanted to dedicate myself to helping others alleviate their pain and through their own disease and sickness. Even though my father's no longer here, he's here with his memories, and he really motivates me every day to wake up and make a difference with my life. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm personally committed to helping others through pharmacy. The second reason why I'm personally committed is because I realized I have the motivation and the ability to achieve my dreams. And this happened after he passed away, and I was scared and I was lost, and I needed some sense of motivation. I needed a goal to set up for myself to know that I could keep moving forward. And so in my mind I was like, okay, I'm going to climb the tallest freestanding mountain in the world. And that was Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa. And so for summer I worked 7 days a week at a pharmaceutical company and a pharmacy, and I saved enough money. During my school year, I woke up early every morning, swimming, climbing, hiking, training myself every day. I researched on the different routes, the conditions I was likely to encounter, and made sure that when I left, I was in the best mental and physical shape I've ever been in. It took 4 days to ascend Mount Kilimanjaro, and I experienced one of the harshest conditions I've ever gone through. It went from 80 degrees to below freezing in a single day. I had to have extreme mental focus to keep moving through darkness, not knowing where I was going next. But when I reached that summit, it was the best feeling I've ever experienced in my entire life. It was completely euphoric, and I felt so motivated, and I felt like I could accomplish anything if I set my mind to it. And it made me realize that something so difficult and strenuous as pharmacy school was something that I could accomplish if I believed in myself and I set my mind to it. And so with that, that was one of the reasons why I pushed myself and realized that I can go to pharmacy school and I can do it. So 3 actions I've taken to achieve this personal commitment is that I am Director of Administration for FISH, which is a nonprofit, and we go to Mexico every 2 weeks, putting on free health clinics for the community down there. I'm director of, I was director in UCLA Student Wellness Commission, putting on free health educational programs, and also I've applied to pharmacy school, and so far I've gotten into 2. So I'm definitely one step closer to my personal commitment. And so in summary, I've told you 2 reasons why I'm personally committed to helping others through pharmacy, and 3 actions I've taken to do this. And so today I'm here not just for an assignment, but I'm here as your peer, telling you about my struggles, of my ups and downs in college. And I definitely doubted myself at times, because here at UCLA you're surrounded by so many amazing and accomplished individuals. But what I've learned is that if you believe in yourself and you take initiative, you are motivated, and you never take no for an answer, you can do so much with your life. And so from me to you, definitely pursue your passions and never give up. Thank you.
4:55.
Hi, Lauren. Hello.
Hi,
I
Lauren.
really loved your stories. I thought your first one was really personal and fun to share with everyone, and your second one was amazing. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. Everyone was really engaged, and I liked your 3 actions too. And congrats on pharmacy school.
Thank you.
I totally agree.
Improvement.
I totally agree. I really liked it. Very touching stories. Improvement. I think you definitely improved with talking slower, but I still think maybe you could talk a little slower. But your time was perfect. So, but I love the details of your story. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you had about 17 seconds, but you'd have to edit to get it down. But you were moving along quite quickly. Let's go over your speech, Kristen. Christine, I really liked your speech. You teased us with a personal story in your intro. You didn't tell it at first, so that was good. You told us a sad story in your first story about your father's death and you helping him through his transition. And it was a very moving story, and it was well told, plenty of details, and it was just excellent story. And you took a positive twist out of it, and so that was good. You know, you didn't let it really get you down so much. On your second reason and your second story, you decided to climb a mountain, not just any mountain, Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa. And you did it, and that was a very inspiring feat. And again, enough details. You told us how you trained, you told us about how hard it was climbing up the mountain and so forth, and then you told us the results of what it meant to you in terms of your own personal psychic, and that was good. On your actions, they were all consistent with your PC, and that was good. Your summary was good. Your conclusion was fine. Your tie back, I would have maybe mentioned your dad once more in your summary or your conclusion and your tie back, but you did a really superb job. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to Samuel Schwartz. Hi Samuel, how you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Alright, hi, my name is Sam.
Hi Sam.
Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it's happened. Because it happened. Dr. Seuss. Write it on your heart that today is the best day of the year. Ralph Waldo Emerson. The cup is never half empty, only half full. And frankly, if somebody gave me a cup of spiders and told me that it was half empty, I'd be really concerned about the other half of a cup of spiders that was running around the room. Today I want to share with you my personal commitment to optimism. I'll give you 2 reasons and 3 actions that I've taken to uphold this personal commitment to myself. Can you imagine a world as a pessimist? It would be absolutely terrible. Nothing would ever go right. Every day would be terrible. I like to live my life as an optimist, and I think it's a really good way to go. My first reason that I am personally committed to optimism is because at an early age I learned how well it can affect me and better my life. About 10 years ago my grandma died. It was the first death I really ever encountered. And although it was really sad and tragic, her death, for one, made me realize and remember all the good times that we had together, and 2, also set in motion another personal commitment of mine to never smoke cigarettes. She died from lung cancer and died a really slow, painful death because she used to smoke. And because of that, I now have seen firsthand the terrible effects of cigarettes. My second reason why I'm personally committed to optimism is because also at an early age I learned how well it can affect others. My junior year of high school, my 2 really good friends, Blake and Shannon, ended their 5-year-long relationship. Now in high school this is pretty big. As both of their really good friends, I was the mediator and I had to console them. I couldn't really give them anything specific, I didn't really know what to say, but I just kept saying, it happened for a reason, and there's got to be some good in it. I just kept saying that over and over to them, and they kept telling me, no, it's terrible, nothing ever good is going to happen again. But about a few months later, Shannon got back into writing and doing art, and Blake got back into jazz and rekindled his love for the bass. Now, I've also taken 3 actions in order to uphold my personal commitment to optimism. My first one is to see the good in bad things that happen to myself. Last year I got really terrible grades. That sucks, but this told me that chemistry might not be the major for me. Secondly, I try to help other people see the good in their own bad situations. A good friend of mine had to quit her sorority of 2 years because she couldn't pay for it anymore. I talked to her for a while, told her there's got to be some good in it, and now she realizes that it was good because she can work on her schoolwork and get a job so that she doesn't have to even stop going to UCLA. And thirdly, I try to see the good in events in the world around me. A very recent, very tragic thing that happened was the Ferguson shooting. It's absolutely terrible that a young man had to lose his life, but because of it, most of this country, a lot more people understand the true meaning of racial stereotypes, and that something needs to be done about it. So overall, I've given you 2 reasons and 3 actions that I've taken to uphold my personal commitment to optimism. And remember, when there's half a cup of spiders crawling up your leg, you're going to have wanted that glass to be half full. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Christine.
I just thought it was really great. I think you were really you had a lot of humor in your speech, and you made it you were talking to the audience. So I think that was really good.
That was very natural. Improvement. Or we can go there. We can go around the back, yeah.
Hi, I'm Joe.
Hi, Joe.
I feel like it was all really fluid and nice. I feel like sometimes our instructions are a little too long. So I think you cut back this time, which I guess is another great improvement. But I don't know, like, apart from that, it was really good.
Okay, thank you. Sam, you started with Dr. Seuss and then quoted Ralph Waldo Emerson and then couldn't resist talking about a glass never being half empty. So you tried to get about all of the ideas of being positive in that you could. So, and then you even threw in some spiders. So I guess that's what he was talking about prolonging. But it was a meaningful intro. It got people's attention, and so it held their attention. So that was good. So you were committed to optimism. And your significant statement was to take the antithesis and say pessimism really sucks and it's bad to, you can't go through life that way. Some people do, but it's not so good. Your first story of why, you told the story of your grandmother and her slow, painful death from lung cancer and her inspiring you never to smoke. So that was a good story coupled with your reasoning, so that worked well as a story. On your second story about Blake and Shannon breaking up, I wish you had tied the moral at the end of the story back up again and come back to the moral, so like when one door closes, another one opens kind of thing. And you did tell us what good things happened to them at the end, but give us a little moral. The actions were good. They were personal. I liked the one about the friend that had to quit the sorority. And the Ferguson thing, well, I hope you're right. I've seen a lot of these over the years, and we seem to, the closer we get, the further we seem to be away from that goal. But I hope you're right. Your summary, your conclusion, and tie back were all fine. You said, don't spend too much time on my stories. Don't go over the time limit, which you didn't. To know my content better, know what's coming next. How did it go?
I think it went pretty well. I think I did all those things. I'm happy I didn't go over time, and I'm happy my introductions. I didn't ramble with my stories.
Okay, you did a nice job today. Thank you. You have your YouTube self-evaluation. Did you do that?
Oh, I thought, is that not the 3 things I can improve about myself?
No, you're supposed to fill out this thing like Christine did.
Oh.
It's on the internet. Okay, let's move on to nursing major Maria. Hi, Maria. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Okay, she's writing. Managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi, I'm Maria.
Hi, Maria.
So as Thanksgiving approaches, we get into the holiday mood of being thankful and appreciative. So there's no doubt we'll see lots of Facebook posts about it. But why is that only the holidays that we get in such great mood? So as I thought about this, I came up with my personal goal of being more appreciative. So that's my personal commitment. So I wanted to share the 2 reasons that led me to it and 3 actions that I have taken. So we need to appreciate the small things in life, and as I thought about this, how we get caught up in all the negative things going on, we don't appreciate the small things. So as I saw this is kind of what led me to my personal commitment. So the first story that I'd like to share was when I was visiting my grandma over the summer. So it's a 10-hour flight, or almost a 12-hour flight, and it's pretty terrifying. I was already kind of irritated at the airport because it's very stressful. And there's some turbulence when I got on the plane, and I didn't think it was a big deal. Then, like, after a while, the plane was shaking, and the air mask came down. That's, like, when all my optimism was gone. And in those 10 minutes that I was thinking the plane was going to plummet into the ocean, I had a lot of time to think. And I thought about how, like, I needed to, like, thank my parents more, thank my grandparents more. I needed to seize the opportunities in life, and how I should just really appreciate life more, because it's so short and could end just like that. So thankfully it was all okay, but it helped me realize how I need to be more appreciative. And the second story that led me to my personal commitment was when I went to Abkhazia over the summer. It's a little country that's separated from Georgia, the country of Georgia, in the 90s. And these people, during their war for independence, 1/3 of the population died for the fight for independence. And the whole country is pretty much destroyed. The houses stand like they're bombed. It's like the skeleton of a house. They don't have windows, they don't really have doors, but people still live in these houses. And although these people lost pretty much everything in the war of independence, they were some of the happiest people I ever met. They had such great hospitality. They always had a smile on their face. They don't really have the resources in the country to rebuild everything because they don't really have factories or anything, but they still appreciate each day. So I really, really like that mindset, and I wanted to incorporate more of that into my life, and that also led me towards being more appreciative. So the 3 actions that I've taken towards being more appreciative are thanking God every day, because I truly have everything I have is because of Him. And the second thing that I do is thank my parents and my grandparents. I respect their advice. I talk to them every day and I thank them, thank for my upbringing. And the third thing that I do is turn the negative into positive. Like when I'm having a bad day, I think about all the good things in life, and that helps me refocus the negative energy into good energy. So after I've done all these actions, I feel a lot happier. I feel like I'm appreciating life more and I'm making the most out of it. So there should be no doubt in this room that I'm personally committed to being appreciative. And as Thanksgiving rolls around, we should all really embrace the holiday mood and incorporate it into the rest of our year, because life is a precious gift and we should be appreciative of it every day.
Thank you. Good sentiments. Where are we? Here, yes. I haven't set the time in the last 2 times, so remind me.
Maria, I really liked your introduction. I think it was good, it was concise, and it caught the audience's attention, and I think you did a good job of it.
Yeah, it caught people's eye, huh? Yeah.
Hi, Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
I think one thing you could work on is adding vocal variety to your speech.
Yeah, there's still a little, the same. There's still some sameness in your delivery, and so we want to vary it: high, low, fast, slow, and make it more interesting to listen to. You wanted to have more details in your storytelling, and I think you did. Move 3 times, you did, and to show more emotions. I thought we saw some more emotions this time, so that was good. Let me go through it, Maria. You made reference to Facebook, and I suppose everyone in the class can relate to that. And you asked the question, why shouldn't we be thankful every day of the year, not just Thanksgiving or whatever, or holidays? And I think that was a good question, and you sort of brought the issue to forefront. And then you explained how you almost died in a plane crash, and that scared you, and that was sort of your moment of reckoning of, how bratty you'd been and how unappreciative you'd been, and it made you change and be more appreciative and not sweat the little stuff and so forth. So that was a good story. And On your second story about the simple people that you met in the little town, is it a country of Abkhazia? Is that how you say it? Yeah. And I see that you can take some. If you've been reading in the text on stickiness, you'll know that the authors are really big on simplicity and making your message simple and getting down to the core idea. And so there's nothing wrong with a simple life and getting down to the core things that you need and tearing away all the other things that we think we need. So I kind of like that. Your 3 actions were okay. How you feel about them, you could have expanded on that. And your summer inclusion and tieback were all good, so you did that right. You wanted to have more details, 3 times and have more emotions. Were you happy with all that?
Yeah, I felt like I had more detail in my story because last time I noticed that I didn't really expand on my story, so I felt like in this one I have more time to.
Yeah. Okay, you did a nice job, Maria. Thank you. What? Yeah, that's it. Okay, that'll bring us to World Arts and Culture Major Zoe. Okay, let's start the timer this time. Yeah. Just put my thumb down. Okay, she's managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and center. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm Zoe.
Hi Zoe.
So, what do you want to do before you die? This question for me is honestly a little bit hard to answer because I'm not exactly sure what I want to do or how much time I'll have. The one thing I do know is how I want to live my life. For me, this meant trying as many things as possible. So today I want to share with you my personal commitment to say yes to as many opportunities as I can, no matter how risky or scary they might be. I will share with you 2 stories why I'm personally committed to this and 3 actions that I've taken to demonstrate my personal commitment. My first story and why I'm personally committed to trying as many things as possible happened when I was 12, and I was on a road trip with my sister and my mom, and we were going to visit our friends in Nevada, and we took a shortcut to go to a popular family lake for a vacation, and I fell asleep, and the next thing I woke up and we're in the middle of the desert, and my mom tells me that the car just got stuck, and immediately I had no idea what to do. There was no cell service. We were miles away from civilization, and we had no food and half a bottle of water. And I was so scared. And honestly, we were there for 2 nights, and on the second night, I was sobbing to my mom because I didn't think that we'd ever be rescued or ever make it out. And I thought that's what the end was going to be. And luckily, we made it out okay because we got stuck a quarter mile from train tracks, and we ended up flagging down the train and riding the train to a police station where they found us. But in that moment, I really saw how short life is and how unpredictable it is, and I wanted to make sure after that to embrace every experience and try as many things as possible. My next story involves one of my friends last year. And in the morning, we were all going to get breakfast burritos at a local market, and I was talking to my friend on the phone, Gavin, and I was telling him to meet us there and hurry up. And 10 minutes later, he called and told us that his dad was in the hospital because he just got a heart attack. And this was super surprising because his dad was a really healthy man, had never had any health problems. And an hour later, we're at my friend's house hanging out, and my best friend's little sister, who's dating his younger brother, starts sobbing. And she told us that Gavin's dad had just passed away. And And in that hour, he went from being a completely normal human to completely dead. And I was with all my friends that moment who had grown up with him and considered his dad a second dad. And it was the hardest thing. And no one could have ever predicted it. And it just showed me how short life really is. And after that, I really wanted to make sure I also took advantage of every opportunity. So if I had to look back on life, I was proud of what I'd done. So, that said, the 3 actions I've taken to say yes to as many opportunities as possible is 1, last year, I went skydiving. And I almost didn't go because I'd heard the freak stories where people's parachutes don't work or the plane crashes before they jump out. And I was really scared, but I ended up going, and it was one of the funnest things that I've done. The second thing I did is I went to Thailand last summer. And I lived in a village and took care of elephants, and the conditions in the village were far from perfect. I lived in a wooden shack with a bed, and we showered out of a bucket full of water where you just pour it on your head. And that was really hard, but it made me so appreciative for everything I have. And the third action I took is trying out for club soccer. And I played soccer all my life, but I had never thought of trying out again or pursuing it until my friend asked me to do it. And I decided to take advantage of the opportunity. And I ended up making it, and it has been one of the funnest things in college so far. And I've made so many close friends. And in summary, I've shown you 2 stories why I'm personally committed to saying yes to every opportunity as possible, and 3 actions I've taken to demonstrate. Life is really short, and I want to be able to take advantage of every second of it.
Thank you. Okay, we're somewhere. Where are we?
Hi Zoe, I'm Estelle. That was really good. I liked how you used kind of like humor, but then you transitioned to like kind of a sad, more like emotional tone. So you really kept us like going an emotional roller coaster with you, and you used like good anecdotes to make your points clear. And you also followed the guidelines really well.
Improvement. Start with your name.
Oh, I'm Tess.
Hi, Tess.
I guess compared to your other speeches, you had a little bit more vocal variety, but I think it's still like a work in progress, because I think that's just like the way you are. Like it's hard for you. Yeah. But I think you improved on that for future improvement. I guess continue to work on that, and maybe just like be more gestural. Maybe that'll. Yeah.
Okay, Zoe. Well, I loved your topic. I have this was 453, by the way. I have on the class website, I used to give a reading on a topic along this line. It's still there, and I gave people a quiz on what they would do if they were to die in 5 days, and what kind of choices would they make, and people found it to be very interesting and helpful, and I think that your near-death situations brought life and the preciousness of it and the quickness of how it can just simply evaporate more to the fore. Young people in particular think they're all going to live to be 95, but we know from high school friends that are killed in drunken accidents, etc., that it's not that way. Or family friends, as your friend's father that died young from a heart attack. It just doesn't work that way. Life is very fragile. On your, you skipped your SIG statement, so work that in a little better and sell a little more to your audience. Your mother getting lost in the desert, yeah, good story. Gavin's father passing away, another good story, which you related to your state of mind. your actions, skydiving, going to Thailand, and club soccer were all consistent with your PC. Summary, conclusion, and tieback were good. You wanted to elaborate on your stories, move around 3 times, and make good eye contact. How'd it go?
I think I did pretty good. I caught myself looking at the camera a lot. So
Yeah.
Everyone.
Okay. Well, why was that? Is that because
I think I was just nervous, so I was just like automatically looking at the camera.
Okay. Yeah, I think that I agree with the comment back here. You want to get some more vocal variety and a little more liveliness in your delivery, and that will help you be more effective. But overall, it was a good speech, and I like the topic a lot. Thank you. Okay, that'll bring us to pre-business economics named Joe.
Got it this time.
I got it this time. Hey, everyone sign the roll sheet?
I didn't sign the roll sheet. I mean, I'm doing this.
Whatever. Oh, my thumb. I have to get used to this new thumb. You can get a little zoom in a little more. Yeah. Okay. Rock and roll.
When life hits you in the face like a truck. I'm sorry, I'm Joe, by the way, guys.
Hi, Joe. Hey, Joe.
When life hits you in the face like a truck and your life starts falling apart, we all resort to something, anything that can help us out from the pitfalls of life. Some resort to their families, others to their loved ones, and some don't resort to anything at all. Today I want to share with you a particular personal commitment of mine that I pursue to overcome struggles of life, and that is the commitment to compose music. By telling you two reasons and three actions that I took to pursue this commitment, I want to be able to show you that music therapy is something that we all can benefit from. The first reason I like to argue that music therapy and music composition was important for me is that it helped me out with depression. I've had depression for a long time, since middle school, and as I turned legal in Korea back in high school, I decided to resort to a lot of alcohol and cigarette smoking. Tragically, I became a chronic smoker for 2 years, and even my conservative Asian parents started to give up on me because no nicotine patch or no psychological counseling would help me out at all. Well, one day I had a sore throat and I couldn't smoke a cigarette, so I went back home and I had a guitar at home, and for some reason there was a melody in my head that I wanted to play out. So instead of spending time alone smoking a cigarette, I decided to play this melody in my head into a song. And strangely, I did not feel the need to smoke again. I felt emotionally and I guess spiritually satisfied that I didn't resort to cigarette smoking at that point. And after a series of this, I came to quit smoking, and now I'm clean and sober for 11 months now. When I say this, people usually clap, but I guess you guys. The second reason I like to argue that music composition was important for me is that it made me make the best friends of my life. In high school, I ended up founding a music composition club, and I met a lot of talented musicians in high school. I met this one particular guy, and he was also interested in a particular subset of rock called post-rock. And because both of us had so much in common, and because that genre of music was so narrow, we ended up sharing a lot. We share a lot of songs that we found out, and also songs of our own. We gave each other feedback, and to this day, he's in a different school right now, but to this day we always talk to each other through songs. We musically communicate, and I think that is a particular type of bonding that is rare in other types of friendship. And now I'll tell you 3 actions that I took to really pursue this commitment, composing of music. The first action is that I bought a lot of instruments. I have a piano, a guitar, a bass, and an electric drum kit. And whenever I feel like I want to spend time alone, instead of smoking, I go back to my studio and start playing songs. The second action that I took was that after buying these instruments, I learned them like an insane person. Because I had a lot of free time in high school. I went to like this local Korean high school for a while, so they didn't teach you anything. I spent around 6 hours per day average learning instruments, learning songs, listening to music. And I feel like that really did well in replacing the time I spent alone smoking with playing instruments. The third action I took is that with all this knowledge that I have, I joined a lot of different kinds of bands. I joined a jazz band, a rock band, a metal band, a post-rock band, of course. And through this, I was able to further broaden my horizon in music so that I would be able to enhance my quality of songs. And through these actions, I felt like I was happy with my life again, and I was emotionally stable. So I told you 2 reasons and 3 actions that I took to pursue this commitment. The first reason was that it helped me out with a certain kind of medical illness. The second reason was that it helped me make the best friends of my life. And the 3 actions are, I bought all these instruments, learned them like an insane person, and got into a lot of different bands. There should be no doubt in this room that composing music is a true inspiration and passion for my life, and that sometimes life really sucks and you can't do anything about it. I chose music, it worked out. I suggest you the same. Thank you.
Thank you. 450. Thank you for respectfully waiting outside. We're somewhere over here, aren't we?
Hi, I'm Maria.
Hi, Maria.
I really liked your stories. I like how you got really personal, and I liked your humor throughout your speech. I thought that was really good.
Thank you. Improvement.
Hi, I'm Trenton.
Hi, Trenton.
I also really liked your speech, and I'm actually kind of finding it hard to critique because you had a really good presentation. Your stories were like very well thought out, and like they were very personal. Good job.
Okay, thank you, Trenton. Joe, you started with, I guess, something about being hit by a truck or something like that. I was looking for the hitting by the truck in the end. I didn't get the
metaphor.
Yeah, I know. I was looking for the metaphor tie back. Joe, you were talking about personal struggles and very personal things, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the courage you had to talk about very personal things in your speech, so thank you for that. I would like to see your personal narrative be a little more prominent in the speech, so my personal commitment is to composing music. I'll give you 3 reasons that I'm PC'd and 3 actions with your voice so that we know where you're going and it stands out a little bit more. And music therapy is something you can all benefit from, your SIG statement like that. On your first reason where you talked about depression and that you were drinking and smoking a lot and going nowhere fast and your parents gave up on you, and then you had a catharsis when you played a melody that was in your head and you gave up smoking. That was a very interesting story, a good story, and I'm glad people clap for you for being without nicotine for 11 months or whatever it was, so that's good. They say, I don't know, but I'm glad I don't know, but they say that nicotine's a hard chemical to break away from, so maybe harder than some others. On the second reason, you talked about this post-rock friend and that sort of thing. I would have liked you to have returned to your PC is the moral of the story, so we knew there was a narrative to that. It wasn't just a story that was stuck in there. That, oh, I had a friend, by the way, that we do post-rock music. On your actions, again, I'd like the numbering to stick out a little bit more so we know. The second action I took was getting in all kinds of bands and so forth. Your actions, your summary, your conclusion, and tie back were all good. You did it within time. Would like to have had a little more vivid tie back to, I don't know, something, the truck or how people struggle or something, but just something more vivid so we know you've come the full circle. But otherwise, it was an improvement over your last speech. Thank you. Yeah. I was just reading your personal goals, Joe. They were good. Okay, let's go on to... Shelby, a physical science major.
Well, when I thought I was going to do that, but no. Not anymore.
She's changed, and we like it. Okay. Oh, thank you. Yes. Some. Oh, I got pushed too hard. Managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm Shelby.
Hi Shelby.
So how many of us have heard the phrase that college is a time of self-exploration? How many of us are finding ourselves? Yeah. If you're anything like me, I kind of feel like I've already found myself. I found myself in high school, and when I'm here at college, I'm just on the path of self-betterment. So I often have heard, like I said, the phrase, your college is a time of self-betterment, but my personal commitment is actually staying true to myself. College is such a fast-paced time. There's so many things going on, so many people pulling us in different directions, and I feel like it's a true testament just to be who you already are. So I still remember when my parents dropped me off for college and I got back in the elevator going up to my dorm, and I realized that in that moment I could be whoever I wanted to be. But then I thought to myself, why do I really need to change? I already like the person I am, and the person that I was got me into UCLA. I feel like we've all gone through a similar experience when we came here. We could be whoever we wanted to be. But I'll give you 2 reasons of why I'm personally committed to staying true to myself, and 3 things I've already done to accomplish this goal. So the first reason that I'm personally committed to staying true to myself is that when I came to UCLA, I felt that I had lost a bit of my voice. In high school, I was the editor-in-chief of my school newspaper, and I was school board representative. I was constantly talking in the community. I gave advice to people. I was very vocal about what I thought, and I really liked that about myself. But when it came to UCLA, I felt so busy by the amount of work we had to do and like schoolwork and stuff that I stopped being so involved in writing and politics and stuff, and got more focused on just my studies and myself. And I feel like it made me really sad, and it also was just hard on my personality. And I also feel like UCLA has a political climate that sometimes is a little bit hard to say negative things against it. I feel like everyone's kind of one way, and so if you are against that, it can be damaging to your future job or friendship career, so I was always worried about that. The second reason that I'm personally committed to staying true to myself is I feel like I've lost a bit of myself coming here. I feel like in high school I was a very optimistic person, but when it came to UCLA, I knew my parents had spent so much money getting me here, and they had 2 more kids after me, and so I felt like I needed to make their monies worth it. I needed to do every single activity, like we were talking about in another speech, and just get really involved. But I feel like because of that, I became super stressed out. I never had time to just sit in my room and read or do something like that. Instead, I was always on the go, moving around, and I felt like I became stressed out, and I feel like I lost my hope and replaced it with fear of failure. For these reasons, I've done 3 things in order to improve and be a better version of myself. The first thing I've done is I've started to get more involved in writing again, and I've started to actually post like political articles. So I posted my first political article on Facebook last week, and it felt like I was really nervous, but it worked. But like everything was okay, so I was glad about that. The second thing that I've done is I've started to say no to things. So instead of going to every single club meeting, going to every movie night, every activity, I've just decided that there's sometimes I just need to skip it and focus on things that truly matter, like the activities I'm passionate about. The last thing that I've done is I've started to focus more on the people who matter to me, because those are the people who have made me who I am. So last weekend I said no to a retreat and a bunch of other activities, went back to San Diego, and had a really awesome weekend with my family. And it felt really good to connect with them again and get back to where I was. And so these 3 actions have made me feel re-energized. I don't feel as stressed out anymore, and I feel like I've come back to finding like who I really am and coming back to the core that has made me get to where I am today. In summary, I've told you 2 reasons and 3 activities that I've done to change commit to my personal commitment to staying true to myself. I feel like during college it's just so fast-paced. It's almost like you're on a runaway train that's just going, and you feel like you're about to fall off or something. But instead of going and being on that runaway train, you can stop and slow down and just find yourself again. And I feel like through college I can become a better person, and that's something we can all work on. So thank you.
4:33. Thank you for waiting respectfully outside. We're somewhere over here.
Hi, I'm Trish.
Hi, Trish.
I really liked your speech. I thought you were very personable and that your voice really fills the room, and that we could all relate to your speech, so you had like that really nice presence about you.
So I really like your speech.
That was your name.
Pauline.
Hi, Pauline.
So I really like your speech too. I thought it was really good, interesting, and your voice caught us. But it was kind of fast. I think you could slow it down, because as he said, you only did 4:33, so you did have a little bit of time to slow down a little. But it was really good overall.
Shelby, you started off by knocking down the cliches of college as self-exploration and finding yourselves, and you're saying, I've already done that, so to speak. I just want to be true to myself. And I thought that was an interesting kind of take on the whole self-exploration thing that most people think they're doing in college. And I think when you left your parents at the elevator, you said, free at last, but then you said, well, wait a minute, why change? That was also an interesting picture that you drew there. On your first reason, you were sad about losing your voice, about not writing, about not caring and being involved in politics, and I thought that was the courage to express that. And I know what you mean about the political climate here at UCLA is of one strain, and so you have to be careful what you say around here, unfortunately. Despite the fact that it's this so-called free university. Your second reason, I thought, was a good expression of how if you look at Bruin walking, you see how frantic people are running up and down, almost like rats, or just really frantic in the way they run around and being stressed out. I thought you communicated that well. maybe a little too fast in your delivery. On your actions, you printed an article that was good. Saying no and going home were all consistent with your PC, so that was good. And how you feel and how you felt about doing your PC re-energized, that was good. Summary, conclusion, tieback were good. Are your goals down here at the bottom, or where are your
I
goals?
believe there's a 3 right.
Right, the 3 down here at the bottom. Slow down. Okay, yeah, we didn't do that so much. Work on your moving around and stare at the audience for 5 seconds. How did those go?
I feel like I slowed down a little bit since last time, but I do need to be a slower talker.
Yeah.
And I feel like I did move around, and I felt less awkward doing the 3 movements than I did last time. I felt like it was more.
How can we get you to slow down?
I don't know. I just am worried about going over, but yeah, I guess just practicing more.
Yeah, it'll take some editing and trusting yourself and having benchmarks of where you want to be at certain points in your speech. Mm-hmm. But I would definitely try to do that so that you have the 5:15 or whatever, so you have that extra. You had about 45 seconds, so you could have really used it. But you did a nice job. I liked the subject of your speech. It was a good PC. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that'll bring us to Olivia Newton-John, life science major. Hi, Olivia. Oh, great. Congratulations. She's moving up in the world. Okay, wait, hang on just a second. Let me put my thumbprint down. Okay.
I'm Olivia.
Hi, Olivia.
Our siblings. They resemble us just enough to make their differences confusing, and regardless of what we do with this, we're cast in relation to them our whole lives long. Susan Merrill. I haven't always done a great job with this relationship, and so today I'd like to share with you 2 reasons why I'm personally committed to being a better sister. I know that everyone has a family and has close family bonds, and they all come with their own drama, so whether it's your siblings or cousins or your parents, I think everyone will relate to both the hardships and the joys that come with family. So the first reason that I'm personally committed to being a good sister is that I know as an older sister I'm a role model. Shortly after I started at UCLA, my dad called me and he was telling me that he had taken my little brother Michael to his orientation for high school. And Michael and I are 5 years apart, and the age difference always seemed like kind of an impossible rift between us, so we were never really close. And my dad said that at his orientation they were at high school and they were walking past sort of a wall of all the past graduates, and most kids went to state schools in Oregon. There was one tiny banner for UCLA with one name under it, and my brother stopped the group to say that that was his sister and to talk about me. And it seemed so simple, but my dad told me that your brother's proud of you, and that just really hit me because I never thought that he was proud of me or that he even really noticed me or looked up to me. And I felt a lot of responsibility in that moment that I needed to be a role model and I needed to commit to being a good person and being a good sister. The second reason that I'm committed to being a good sister is that I need to be there through the hard times. Your older siblings are supposed to be there to protect you. And I'd like to tell you about a time when I failed to do that. About a year and a half ago, I heard my brother, overheard my brother talking about kind of his own pain in regards to my parents getting divorced. And I felt really guilty because I hadn't really heard about that before. When my parents divorced, I was 16, and it was a really tough age for me. I felt like it was really unfair to have to go through that, and I felt like I had to be the adult. I think this was around the time that my brother and I kind of stopped talking to each other, really. I really resented him for the way that my mom babied him, and I felt like he didn't have to struggle with it as much as I did because he was younger and he could get used to it. I acted like he couldn't possibly understand what I was going through instead of leaning on him because we were going through the same thing. He didn't have a car. He couldn't just go out all night and not come home when he wanted to avoid what was going on with my parents. And I acted out a lot, and I kind of monopolized being hurt. I was the girl, and I was older, so I had more of a voice, and I caused a lot of drama, and he kind of had to be stoic about it. And I kind of assumed at the time that he just didn't care as much as I did, but really he was 11 and he was starting middle school, and I hadn't even taken a moment to consider that that's a tough age too. And it's tough for everybody, no matter what position you're in life. It's a tough situation. And I still see today in high school the effects of that on my brother, and I think that it could have been different if I had shielded him better. And I still see him struggle to get along with my mom, and I know that he was hurt when she got remarried, and I wasn't there for him. It's the thing I feel most guilty about, I think, in my life so far. And so, because of that experience failing to protect my brother as an older sister, it's made me commit to wanting to be a good sister so that I never let him down again. So 3 actions that I've taken to accomplish this are that I call my brother every week. He usually doesn't say very much to me, but I can kind of tell he appreciates it, and he's my best friend on Snapchat right now, so that's pretty cool. Whenever I'm home, I always take him out, just the 2 of us, and hang out, and I try to work on being a role model and talking to him. And then thirdly, I try to gain his trust. I think that maybe he doesn't trust me very much, and so I try to stand up for him with our parents, and I try to never put him down. And it makes me feel really good, even when he just opens up small details of his life to me. So, in summary, I've told you 2 reasons why I'm committed to being a better sister, and I've told you 3 actions that I've taken to accomplish this goal. So, our siblings are there our whole lives long, and although in the past I haven't always made the best of this relationship, I hope that in the future I don't take it for granted, and that my brother never has to question whether or not I'm there for him.
Thank you. 5:10. Thank you for respectfully waiting outside. Somewhere here? Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Anne.
Hi, Anne.
Hi, Olivia. I really like your presentation. I think you bring a lot of personality into your stories, and you really take us into the moment and sharing your stories like that. I feel thank you very much for doing that. So,
Yeah, good storytelling. Improvement?
Hi, I'm Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Your stories were really, really good. I could really relate to them and stuff. I would say one thing to work on would be kind of your delivery, because you use "and" a lot kind of as a transition. So maybe just kind of focus on getting from one idea to the next without having to connect it with the word "and." I do that too, so it's like I understand, but just work on that. Thanks.
Okay, that's a good thought. Olivia, now a comm major. You started off with a quote about siblings, and you ended with it, so you had good bookends, so that worked well. You set it up for us with a story to talk about your brother, and you had a very elegant and nice beginning, and you related it to us and said that we all have different dramas and problems with our own siblings, be it younger or older or whatever, and I think that's very true. And I was just thinking about my own, and as you said that, so, you know, that worked well. On your first story, it was a good story about your brother pointing to the mural and saying, that's my sister and I'm proud of her, and that was kind of your father to call you and point that out to you, and then it was good that you had a realization that he you know, he was aware of you and aware that you were at UCLA and that sort of thing, and that you're a role model. And so that was really a good story. On your second story about your parents' divorce, it doesn't sound very pleasant, and it doesn't sound like, you know, you euphemistically said you made a lot of drama. It sounds like you were a real pain. And your brother, you resented him because you felt he was babied through it. But he probably was hurting just as much or more than you were. So you were very honest, brutally honest with your writing and how you told your story about that. And I thought that was very compelling and very good. On your actions, you call them every week. I think that's excellent. And advice and so forth, and don't put him down. I realize there's kind of a gap between you, so that's kind of tough. Your summary, your conclusion, and tie back were all fine. Let's see your goals. Maintain an eye long enough to get emotional connection. Sound confident in what I'm saying. Give more details in your stories. How'd it go?
Pretty good. I still want to work on, I think the eye contact is better and the story details, but I still want to work on, like she was saying too, not kind of like carrying on all my sentences, but like finishing a thought with a period and then starting again.
Yeah, therefore, in addition, furthermore, there's a lot of other transitional words you can use besides and, so. But you did a nice job, Olivia. Thank you. Okay, that'll bring us to Isabel. Isabel Chu, who's not in the class. How are your eyes now?
I'll try.
She'll try. You'll impersonate Isabel Chu, right?
Sure thing.
Okay, go for it. Okay, she's managing us. Wait, I gotta put my thumb down. How do I do this? Touch it, then put my thumb down. Stop, reset, okay.
Hi, I'm Isabel.
Hi, Isabel.
So every day I suffer from a beautiful thing called wanderlust. Wanderlust is a strong urge or desire to wander and explore the world. I've been lucky enough to go to 8 countries and countless cities, each journey holding a special place to my heart. I'm constantly amazed at how these foreign lands can hold little pieces of myself that I never even knew were there. Today I would like to share with you my personal commitment to travel. As St. Augustine said, the world is a book, and those who do not travel only read one page. This perfectly exemplifies my feelings towards my personal commitment. I'm going to share with you 2 personal stories and 3 actions to explain why this is something I've decided to commit to. So my first story, and why I'm personally committed to traveling, comes from my experience in moving cities. When I was in 4th grade, my family moved us from Portland, Oregon to Bainbridge Island, Washington. Portland is a bustling, vivacious city. There's so much to do. It's one of my favorite places in the world, and they moved me to this tiny, remote, small, like, farmy island out of nowhere. And I was so mad, so defiant, that when we got there, I refused to make friends. I refused to see anything. People would be like, there's really cool things, like there's forests, there's beaches, and I just refused. I would just say no. The unknown was so scary to me. I had always had this one life that was so familiar and comfortable with the friends I had grown up with since I was little, and it was just so scary to be in this new place that was really, really different from what I was used to. And then my mom planned this family trip to Hawaii out of nowhere, and for the first time I saw that there's so much beauty in the unknown. I was seeing these white sand beaches and lava rocks, and it was unlike any place I'd ever been, and it kind of gave me a small dose of what it's like to experience new places and new cultures. And my mom kind of sat me down and was like, see, like, this is an island too. This is really cool. You can learn so much in these new places. And when we went back home, I decided to take that in stride, and then I really put myself out there and opened myself up to my new town, and was so happy with what I learned and what I saw and the friends that I made. And this was kind of the step one of me realizing that travel is a really important thing in my life. The second experience that kind of made me personally committed to travel comes from my belief of learning from doing and learning from living. While I'm a firm believer in the importance of education and the power of knowledge, I have found for myself that the times I grow the most and learn the most is from my life experiences. For example, in 7th grade, we were kind of studying immigration, and at this time we also took a family trip to New York, and we went to Ellis Island. I kind of knew about my ancestry, but not a lot, and my mom was telling me about her great-grandparents that came directly from Sweden, and we actually found their names like in the giant registry of Ellis Island, and this is one of the coolest experiences of my life. I felt that I learned more about my past and myself from experiencing this than I ever could have learned about Ellis Island from a book. Similarly, the summer after my sophomore year, we went to Europe for the first time. And while there was low points, we lost our luggage, and living with my family of 5 in close quarters is extremely difficult. Whether it was the food that we would eat with the Pantheon in the background, or feeling absolutely transcended looking at Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper in Milan. I just felt that I grew as a person more than I ever could have imagined, and I finally began to grasp that I'm just this small, small person in this big world, and the more that I can see, the more I can learn. I will just take every opportunity, and I think that traveling is one of the most beautiful ways to learn about the world that you just can't from the internet or a book or a lecture. And now I would like to share the 3 actions I've taken to achieve my personal commitment to travel. The first one is that I have decided to take every single opportunity given to me, whether that means losing a job or not seeing my friends. So this summer we were given the chance to go to Mexico, and I had this really solid job that I really couldn't leave, and I decided that I just had to go there again, and whether that meant losing my job or not, losing 2 weeks of work, traveling was much more important. So that's where I've taken an action there. The second action that I've taken to achieve my personal commitment is I've accepted that traveling doesn't have to be to another city. It can be just to an unexplored place. So that can mean Venice Beach, and being a tourist for a day in a place, even though you haven't gone very far, is such an important mindset because it helps you grasp the adventures and all the fun things that these places have to offer. The third action I've taken is I've decided to study abroad next year. So I'm really excited exploring all these possibilities, and while it's impossible to choose, I just feel so thankful that I will have another opportunity to experience a new city as a student. Taking these actions, or planning to take these actions, has made me feel inspired and so alive, and just thankful for this world that we live in. In summary, I've shared with you 2 personal stories and 3 actions about why I'm personally committed to travel. So while I may be homesick for places I've never been, I feel so blessed to have this passion inside that makes me want to go explore and see all the world has to offer. Thank you.
5:27. Thank you for respectfully waiting outside.
Hi, I'm Angelica.
What's your name?
Angelica.
Hi, Angelica.
You're really charming speaker. Like when you talk, people I just want to listen. So that's really good. And then I think you had a really nice flow. Your speech didn't feel really memorized or anything. It just felt you were speaking very naturally, speaking from the heart. So that was good.
I'm Tiffany.
Hi.
I really enjoyed your speech too. It was really interesting. I guess since you went over time, I think you could edit. I think your pace was good, so I wouldn't say you needed to go any faster. I guess you just really elaborated on your stories, which was great. But for the time, some people better.
Yeah. Let's see where you could have picked up your time.